Let's turn to the advisory, and can you claim a tax deduction for financial advice fees? Let's ask Sarah Aboud, CEO of the Financial Advice Association of Australia. Hi Sarah, good to see you.
Great to be here.
So you're in consultation with the Chartered Accountants Australia and New Zealand, Australia, and the Institute of Public Accountants. So what are you finding, what are you advising?
Okay, so the thing that's changed is the tax office have reviewed the tax deductibility of financial advice and issued a new tax determination late last year, which does recognise that some upfront financial advice can be tax deductible, and that's a new thing. So generally speaking, ongoing financial advice fees have been deductible and continue to be. But what's changed is that the tax office is recognising that some of that upfront fee can in fact be deducted. So we've been working with the accounting associations, as you say, CPA, CANS and IPA, to develop guidance on how you can work out how much of your financial advice fee could be tax deductible.
And so for just a high level, I'm sure it's different for every individual, but what sort of deduction is available for this advice?
Yeah, so financial advice can obviously cover a range of topics, but what this has changed is recognised that some of that upfront advice could be related to your tax affairs and your tax situation. And of course, under 25(5) in the Tax Act, expenses that you incur in managing your tax affairs can be tax deductible. Now, of course, financial advice isn't accounting, and accounting isn't financial advice. There are differences, but certainly in financial advice, many of the strategies that you consider will have some regard to the tax position that you have. So the guidance that we've worked on is to provide both financial advisors and accountants guidance on how you would work out for a given piece of advice, how much of that could be attributed or apportioned to the client's tax affairs.
It sounds like a lot of work. I assume this has taken quite a few years of advocacy.
Yeah. It's been actually, if you take it back to when we first approached the tax office to review that tax determination, it's been 6 years. And then the updated tax determination was issued towards the end of 2024, and we've been working with the accounting associations for a number of months just to make sure that guidance is really clear and making sure that advisors and accountants are getting the same guidance on how to do that.
And so is it clear and also readily available for people to find?
Yeah, so if you're a client of a financial advisor, you should ask them if some of your fee is deductible, and then your accountant, you can also ask that and mention that you've received financial advice, you've paid an upfront financial advice fee during the year. Is some of that deductible? And they should be able to answer that question now and do that really consistently.
And as we are only, what did we say in the ad break, 14 days or something away from the end of the financial year?
Don't remind me, it's too close.
Just tell us more broadly, what should people be doing to get their houses in order?
Absolutely. I guess it's the time of year when you're thinking about things you can do to optimise your tax situation. Of course, whether you have some deductions, that's absolutely something to think about, get the paperwork sorted out. There's many aspects of financial planning that can be impacted and are good to think about with the financial year coming up. So superannuation deductions, if you haven't maximised your contributions this year, it's absolutely a good time to review that and make sure that you are getting all the benefits that you're able to for your super. Anyone who has income protection insurance, that premium's generally tax deductible, so it's a good time to be thinking about that. And of course, anyone involved in social security or any sorts of payments from the government and so on, 1st of July is a big day. Often those payments will change and so on. So it's absolutely a good time to be in contact with your accountant, your financial advisor, and make sure that you've done everything that you can to put yourself in the best position. And
I know that we at Ausbiz have asked you this before, but I just want to get your thoughts again on these changes that are coming in, particularly the controversial Division 296 part.
Oh, right, yes. That's obviously caused a lot of discussion. So this is the government's proposal to tax superannuation balances over $3 million. So it's important that people are aware that those changes are proposed, they're not yet law. So the things that are probably more controversial are firstly that limit would not be indexed. So right. $3 million feels like a lot of money today. It's probably not going to feel like a lot of money in 20 years' time. So there's some concern about that. And the other element of the changes that's been controversial is that unrealised capital gains could be taxed, and you could be in a position of needing to pay tax on an asset where you haven't actually realised any of that asset and it's an unrealised gain. So those are controversial elements of the proposal hasn't yet passed, so we don't know whether that will be the final shape of the law or not. But certainly anyone with any concerns or questions should absolutely be talking to their financial advisor about that. People who have illiquid assets in their super, that's often in their self-managed super fund. Some people use that structure to hold assets like a family farm or business premises or something of that nature. And they're in the most difficult position generally because often there may not be liquidity in the vehicle to pay a tax bill. So definitely have a conversation about whether those changes might affect you and whether there's anything you should do to prepare for those changes before they become law. But we're certainly saying to people, don't do anything too controversial or that can't be changed now, because as I said, we don't know if that's going to be the final shape of the law. Talk to your advisor is the best advice.